Hi everyone, welcome back to ISBR Business School's podcast Expert Matters. I'm your host Shruti Bora. I'm an alumni of ISBR Business School, and this podcast is all about bringing real industry journeys with you, in front of you. We're getting real life experiences, we're getting real life leaders with you. And today we're joined by Ratikesh Sharma. He has built a diverse career across data, business analysis, consulting, banking, fintech, and strategy. And his journey is a great example of how careers evolve over time rather than, following just a straight line. So Ratikesh, welcome to the show. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Shruti. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And I look forward to provide as much transparent insights as possible to help the students.
Definitely. We have a lot of questions for you today. And before we jump on to the questions, if you can just, briefly introduce about your journey, about your educational background and your journey in the corporate industry so far, so that we can set a tone for the questions.
Sure. So, Shruti, to be honest, I haven't done wonders yet in my career and, professional aspirations which I've got. So, I think I consider myself as a learner. And to be honest, if I'll start in a reverse chronological order, then I am currently working in the corporate and working as a consultant, majorly into the business analyst side. And what I do is I basically do very simple thing. So I go to the clients, I understand the problem statements which they are iterating, I turn it out, into a simple and structured solution, and liaise with my internal stakeholders, and we design and develop something which can do wonders. So majorly what I do is I work as a bridge between external and internal stakeholders, and I try to guide the solution and design the solution as much as I can. So this is what I do right now. Majorly, I work with the international and domestic clients,
Mhm.
specifically in the BFSI field. So BFSI industry is banking, fintech, and insurance industry. Just for the audience who are not aware of it. So yes, this is into the digital transformation right now. Previous to it, I worked into the alliances with Paytm. I ventured with Kotak Mahindra Bank into the product sales team. I worked with Oyo Rooms into the go-to-market strategies, and I started my career as a person as a data analyst, and this was into telecom sector. So diverse fields, diverse domains, diverse industries as well, I would say. Uh, this is my professional background, and in terms of academics, I did my MBA from MDI Gurgaon, and that was into strategy. Previous to it, I am an engineer, so from computer science stream, uh, and I've also done my MDP from IIM Koipur. This is what I am, fairly simple, and I'm trying to learn every day. That's what I'm doing right.
Perfect. That was, a detailed introduction about you, and it really sets a tone for the conversation because I have a very interesting question for you. We have noticed that a lot of students, once they start their journey in the corporate, they fear, switching their career into something else. Say, for example, like me, I started as a journalist and then I moved into, completely different field, which is in HR. So I just want to, understand. You started your career in a technical and data focused role with your engineering degree, and you gradually moved into business analysis, consulting, strategy. So how did the transition feel like, and what advice would you have, for students who are very early in their career path and are thinking about building a career in a different complete different industry?
Okay, okay. So, to be honest, Shruti, I didn't have a very straight path in terms of my, professional aspirations. So I was just, hitting head on whatever is coming in front of me. So to be honest, the career transitions are not in a straight line. What one thinks is not how it moves, to be honest. So it is sort of a curve. Sometimes it goes with what you are thinking, what you're asking for. Sometimes it doesn't. It's very simple, right? So for me, I started my career as a system analyst, data analyst, and I worked there for around in that role for around 1.5 years. But I realized that this is not my cup of tea. I'm not going to just do this certain stuff, just work on the MI, just filter the data, clean the data. This is not what I'm going to do. because I realized while working that data insights is not, is not something which is making an impact. The business communication, the business, solutions which are driving by the data is what is making impact in the industry, for the company, for the customers, for the consumers, right? So this is what I realized. So I could see my ceiling at that particular role. I thought, why not looking forward to learn something which is more into the business side, right?
True.
And this is very intrinsic to me. I was always inclined towards the business side of the corporate, and I realized that I should learn how the front end team, how, people who liaise with the clients directly, how do they work. So I switched my career, into business development, into go to market team, into sales specifically. And I realized that what I was doing at my data analyst role was something, which is making an impact on the back end, but this is something which is going to make an impact for the client itself. So I worked that as a bridge and created something which was making an impact for both sides of it. So apart from it, I worked with GTM team, that is go to marketing team. Then I switched purely into the strategy and sales role, that is with Kotak Mahindra Bank, then with Alliance Consulting. So to be honest, this is not something which is a straight curve. Just for the audience, just for the students, this is not going to work like it. Just go head on and try to learn as much as soft skills as possible, because technical skills are something which is evolving every day, and you should be, on your toes to learn them. But soft skills is something which is going to help you in a long term impact. Yes.
Definitely, I completely agree. And that's such an important point because, students who feel very anxious about making the right choice, immediately some people, get stuck in their career for almost a decade or more and they don't have the courage to restart something. Rather, they would have, spent and made a bigger impact in the, transition they have made because that would be their area of interest. So when you're saying that transitioning is important and it comes naturally to you and you should have guts to do it, I mean you should take action doing it, it highlights that careers are built through learning and experimentation and not just instant clarity. When you do, like you said, you did engineering and I did journalism, so two different things completely. I definitely really appreciate. My next
Exactly.
question to you would be, you worked on large digital transformation projects impacting lakhs of users and multiple stakeholders. So what is the biggest difference between solving MBA case studies and handling real world business problems? And how can students prepare themselves better for that transition?
Okay. So there is, very big difference in terms of the complexities which are involved. To be honest, most of the things when it comes to the problem statements, when it comes to iterating the problem into structured solutions, and also understanding the data which is given, this is pretty much simple and the same for the real life problems, for the business problems, and for the case studies as well. But the complexities and the variables which are involved are huge. So let's say, just for an example, if there is a student who is understanding and who is trying to solve a case study, he or she is having a certain kind of data which is already clean. There is a very well defined problem statement, which is a very big thing, in comparison to the real life and real business problems. In order to understand even the problem statement is quite a task in itself, because the client or the customer knows what they want, but they don't know how to turn that out into metrics which the other person or the consultants or the companies can solve, right? So understanding the problem statement, the structured problem, is there in the case studies, but you'll have to work in order to make the problem statement, structure the problem statement. That is one. Second, you'll have to clean the data, you'll have to understand the data, you'll have to understand that what are the insights which are into it. Apart from that, I think very major which I was iterating, that the complexities and the variables which are included, because in case studies you have to find a solution, obviously, but into the real life problems there are real consumers, there are real customers who are going to get impacted with the solution. You'll have to understand from top down approach, from bottom up approach, what are the constraints, what are the variables included. So just for an example, in the digital transformation, so I worked with one of the biggest bank of India, And what we did is we digitally transformed the whole data management system or document management system of theirs. So traditionally what they were doing is they were starting, sending notifications to the customer in order to procure a document. Then a particular resource was going to the customer in order to get that document. Then they were coming back to the bank. Then they were sending that to the audit team. There is whole to and fro process. One, that the efficiency and the productivity of the resources are getting impacted. Audit team is getting impacted. Even the customer is getting impacted, right? The whole process was, very cumbersome, I would say. So what we did is we analyzed the whole landscape in order to understand what the ground workforce is trying to, think, what they want. We tried even, to understand from the customer's perspective. We tried to understand from the audit team perspective. So the whole stakeholders which are included in this whole process, they have their own variables. So this is what I can say, that case studies for sure helps you in order to, go forward, in order to solve the real life business problems. But yes, most of the variables are included. A lot of hassle is there, but I'm sure, talented pool like you guys are going to get head on with it.
Very honest comparison. I think students often underestimate the power of ambiguity, in real life and real work versus what case studies, structured case studies we have in our college assignments. And your experience really puts that into perspective that, how your day looks like, what kind of matrices do you have to take care, how many people are you associated with, and, how many teams are dependent on you, on your work. So yeah, it really helps a lot. Your journey spans startups, large banks, fintech, consulting, MNC companies. Many students worry that switching roles or industries might look a little risky. So, with your experience, what skills help you stay relevant across different environments and different industries?
Okay. So I'll start answering this question in two very specific parameters. One, that what kind of skills help me in order to transform, in order to be relevant towards every role which I took or I catered to. So one, that the soft skills are something which are easily attainable, which you can attain from consistency, showing up every day. Also, in order to if you show intent, then you're gonna acquire the soft skills. Soft skills includes stakeholder management, better communication, understanding the problem. This is very simple, but it takes time, it takes experience, it takes you in order to work at a real problem, then you'll be able to attend it. But soft skills are going to help you in a very long term. I'm gonna tell you this, that be it engineering role, be it product management role, be it consulting, strategy, sales, anything. Soft skills are something which are highly regarded and highly paid by the corporate. Apart from this, technical skills are there, but they are very specific. They are relevant towards the role you're working on. And technical skill is something which you'll have to brush up every day, because the technology is evolving every day, and you'll have to be very relevant to it. So yes, both, the balance of it helps you. I would say 60-40 ratio or a 70-30 ratio would always help, but focus more towards working in order to attain more soft skills. And this is specifically for the MBA students, for the B school students, because this is something on which your hiring manager is going to judge you. To be honest, even if I am going to be a hiring manager, if I am a hiring manager, then I look forward to a person who has better soft skills, better communication, right? And second
And
parameter, yeah, yeah.
yes, please continue.
So the second parameter is that yes, I have transformed, I have transitioned into many roles, I have transitioned into many industries. And to be honest, wherever I start a conversation or a person who is there who is transacting with me in terms of interactions, they always ask that you have switched on a lot of industries, you have switched and transitioned into a lot of roles. What
Yeah.
makes you still relevant for new roles or new things which are coming? To be honest, if you have you know the real and the honest answers to it, there is no one who is going to judge you on it. Change as
Hmm.
many jobs as possible, change as many industries as possible until you feel relevant to that industry, to be honest, right?
Hmm.
And be ready with the honest answer. Be very candid with the interviewer or whoever the person is. tell them that you are not feeling relevant, and this is something which you are looking forward to. This is something where
Yeah.
you can make an impact, because they are going to pay you on the kind of impact which you are going to make, the kind of value which you are going to take to the table. They are not going to, judge you on something which you did previously. So
Correct.
always be honest to whatever you are doing, current role, even if you feel relevant or not. Be very honest. Be, very confident about it, and just do whatever your heart feels like, and keep hustling, keep hustling. That's something which is very important.
Thank you so much. I really, appreciate the way you have emphasized on transferable skills over job titles, because I've heard that, when you become a manager, you'll have these qualities. When you are an analyst or maybe an associate, you have these qualities. So I really, really, really appreciate that skills can be built and you have put it in such a beautiful way. It really gives, a validation to these students. It makes them feel that their career decisions are less intimidating because they're pretty much scared. They're all 20, 21-year-old young minds.
I understand. Been
Thank
there.
you so Perfect. My another question would be, you moved from IC, which is individual contributor roles, to managing teams now. You're managing internal teams, external teams, clients, cross-functional stakeholders, and these are all leadership and, people with more than 10, 15 years of experience. So it requires a different level of skill set altogether. When did you realize that communication and stakeholder management are as important as your technical and, analytical skills?
Oh wow, that's a great question. To be honest, I'll even have to contemplate on where I
Ah,
realized. So,
hmm.
Shruti, to be honest, in the very starting, I started my career as a system engineer, as a data analyst, and
Hmm.
I was purely into the IC role. So
Hmm.
I was working, I was trying to learn new things. I was,
Hmm.
just adhering to my KRA, right? So I was doing that. Then I switched on a role with Oyo Rooms. I started there as an individual contributor, and to be honest, with the kind of work I was doing, I got promoted, but still I was on a, individual contributor role at that time. But when I
Hmm.
switched to Kotak, I got a team of 15
Hmm.
executives, close to 15 executives who were reporting directly to me. So I, was trying to understand how to management, how to do the management, how to manage the team, how to increase the productivity and efficiency of the resources who are working under me. And while,
Hmm.
in order to, identify, I realized that this is pretty simple. You
Yeah.
just have to be a helping hand to the resource who is working under you. You just have to work and help him as, someone who is going to help you. I was not someone, who was trying to push my resources down, push my resources, in a manner which is very aggressive. I was more towards, increasing the productivity while also working with them. So once you understand the problem, what they are facing, and once you act as a helping hand as a manager, the team is going to serve you, the team is going to cater you, the team is going to achieve the targets which have been assigned to you without even complaining. So this is what I've observed. I think I'm very lucky because I got really good teams while, starting managing the teams. Right now I am also working with business analysts, I'm also working with internal teams, I'm also working with stakeholders who have, 20 years of experience in the domain. But one thing which I realize is that in order to be very curious around things, you know be it someone who is fresher, be it someone who has 20 years of experience, you always have to be curious about what they are doing, how they are doing it. You don't have to act as an expert to it. You just want, to learn, to understand what they have in their perspective, and also work, shoulder to shoulder, hand in hand. That's how you're going to manage, and you're going to increase the productivity of the team. That's very subjective, to be honest, what I'm answering, because I've been lucky on the kind of resources which I've worked with. But yes, curious and be respectful towards every resource. That is something which is very important.
That's amazing, actually. That realization that you have to be grateful for the things you have, it really comes after you have a real world exposure. And it's
Exactly.
great for students to hear this early, because it definitely changes how they approach learning during their MBA, not just, when they enter the corporate.
Yes.
So amazing explanation. My last question to you would be, many MBA students feel average or, maybe underconfident sometimes, especially when they start out looking for job opportunities for their placements. So looking back at your journey, what habits or mindset made the biggest difference for you? And what advice would you give to these students who are willing to work hard but are still, finding their confidence?
Very simple answer, Shruti. And this is very candid, transparent, whatever you can say. Show up every day. That's something which is going to help you a lot. Even I feel underconfident. Even, anyone who is there, who is working as a CEO as well, they also feel underconfident or under the sun, a lot of days. So this is something which is there as a human tendency to everyone. But showing up in order to be there and solve the problem, also learn, you know this is something which is going to help everyone a lot. And for the students who are at very young age, who are going through academics in any stream, be it engineering, be it commerce, be it medical, be it MBA, showing up every day, consistency and competence beats everything. Note this: consistency and confidence beats everything. So show up every day, try to learn, and be confident when it comes to the thing which is scare or which scares you a lot, is something which is going to make you evolve a lot. So just show up for it. Just go bang on, head on, be the juggernaut. That's it.
Amazing. That's incredibly reassuring and very practical advice. I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this video right now, students who are watching they will relate deeply to what you just shared,
I hope so.
because it's very difficult for today's generation to be consistent. Although, if they make their mind to it, they can genuinely be as consistent as they want to. So
Yes.
yeah, that really puts a lot of things in perspective. I've had a lot of fun having this conversation. I hope you had amazing experience too. Uh,
Likewise, likewise. Also, the kind of how you streamlined, how you structured the whole interaction was amazing. Thank you so much for making me, you know, uh, comfortable. So that's important.
Thank you so much. That really, really, really means a lot.
Thank
And thank you so much for sharing your entire journey and insight so openly in such a short, a limited attention time which we have from these viewers. And I'm sure our students will have taken a lot away to for their confidence, clarity from this entire conversation, and especially from your journey. So I totally had so much fun. I loved this conversation. Thank you so much for taking our time for us.
thank you, Shruti.